Hey friends, it's me, Greg. I'm back. It's day 3 of Black American History Month. I told you guys that I was going to do these Black American History Month shorts. Um, and there's no real sort of like order or, anything to any of this. Of course, I want to come in and give you guys whatever's on my heart to give you. But this year, I guess it was the same way last year, so you guys kind of get the gist of it. Tonight, I wasn't sure if I was going to actually hop on and do anything in particular tonight. And I kind of was just debating on even talking about what I wanted to come in and talk about because it's just, I'm not social media guy in the way that folks do it. I definitely take my time. I'm super private because I don't be wanting y'all up in my business. But I think, yeah, I was thinking earlier because something happened, obviously, which I'll get to. Um, and it just felt right. And it just felt right. Clearly, I'm not live. I'm pre-recorded. But yeah, I definitely, depending on how this goes, I'll probably upload it. Or not. Regardless, I had an experience tonight. Um, I guess I'll just get into it, I guess. I had an experience. Something. Okay, so last year, I guess this past year, and I guess within the last like 6 months, I've been sort of really just sort of thinking on and just exploring ways of not being so reactionary to things. Reactionary in the sense of just taking ownership of my energy, really focusing on just having more self control, and not allowing the things of the world to affect me. I'm super energy sensitive and I just, I care a lot. Sometimes, and I guess it depends, but regardless, I think now where I am with that, I'm super happy with where I am with that. Tonight, something was brought to my attention that actually happened like a month and a half ago at this point. But I'm just sort of getting wind over it. And it was one of those moments where it was just like, had you caught me 3 months ago? Had you caught me 2 months ago? No. Maybe 2 months ago. It probably would have been a different story. And like, granted, I won't sit here and act like I'm just, blowing gaskets or anything like that. Like, it's not an anger issue thing or anything like that. It's not an emotional issue. It's not any extreme. But at the same time, I think, which is why I wanted to talk about it, I think as Black Americans, we're faced with so much on the daily. The situation at hand has all types of isms attached to it. But at the same time, it's one of those things where clearly the divine, which, it can be said for all of us, the divine, God, the universe, however you want to look at the divine, has always had our back since the beginning. And it's just like with situations like the one that I've experienced, or, you know, more extreme, more less extreme situations, the daily things that we go through. Um, Divine has always had our back. And, I had to smile and I had to sort of like just take wind of how I was reacting to it now, right? Like it was more, this video is more of a celebration than anything of just this space that I'm in now on my journey. And really coming into a space where I don't feel so unsafe in the world. I think emotionally as well as physically as well as all these things, I feel like there's a heightened sort of walk that some of us, most of us, a lot of us, go through in the world, where it's just like you always feel like you have to look over your shoulder. You always feel like, you know you don't really trust it, and you don't really feel as safe, and you feel there's a heightened sense of emotion because there's always so much stuff going on, whether it be, I guess, to any extreme, or whether it's a microaggression or whether it's something, there's levels to it, right? You don't necessarily always feel like things are in your control, but being in this space now, I think for me, and getting to this place, I feel like I'm graduating in a sense, right? Where it's like, yeah, I do have control over my energy. Yeah, I do have a say in how I react to these things. They're gonna happen. They've been happening. You know what I mean? And it's important, I think, for us to have that understanding and have that emotional intelligence to be able to say, you know what, I'm taking my power back. I'm gonna live a life um where things are on my terms, my emotions are on my terms, how I react to these things are on my terms. I can't constantly give my power away. I can't constantly allow myself to um give my power away. You know what I mean? I can't, and also I can't allow myself to feed into it and allow myself to be taken out of character. I can't allow myself to be in a position to, granted, a lot of things are always happening to us, right? But like, I can't victimize myself. I can't, it's sort of like almost like what I was saying yesterday too. We don't always have to fight. You know what I mean? Granted, take that with not with a grain of salt, and I guess it's by case situation because I'm all for the fight. Let's be very clear about that. But like, the gut reaction, reactionary, the gut reaction of wanting revenge, the gut reaction of um making wrongs right, and feeling the need for justice, which justice must be served, but at the same time, choosing your battles and also just really, again, having that emotional intelligence to just move through these things. Because, like I said, we're constantly faced with so many things, and it almost feels surreal when you take a step back and really reflect on it, and think about all the things that we face because we're black and because we're American, we're black Americans, and um, any other intersection that goes along with that, right? Um, but yeah, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, I want to talk about this because this is something that I don't necessarily hear people talking about all the time. Just the overwhelming feeling of the attacks. You know what I mean? The overwhelming feeling of, you know, yeah, just not feeling safe, and feeling that you have to have your guard up and you have to, you know, get revenge, get justice, get, not allow these, and it's not about allowing these things to happen. It's about having the emotional intelligence to not be taken out of your character and not be reactionary, and actually taking that moment to step back and say, you know what? You can have that. I'm gonna let you have that. I know where I'll take it if need be, but it ain't even worth it. I'm bigger, I'm better, and I don't need it. And I think that's a great place to be in because when I tell y'all the space that I'm in right now is so good. It's so good. And having this lesson be something that's been an ongoing thing that I've had to kind of face, which I'm always doing, like self-work and that sort of thing, and really tapping in to, that kind of energy just in general. But I think, given the circumstances, it's just it honestly, whenever I got caught whim of what was happening, or what happened, unbeknownst to me. Um, it just, I don't know, it made me smile because it's just, it was so ridiculous, for one. Let's just be clear about that. It was super ridiculous, but it also just kind of um, made me realize in the moment that I did take that step back and just say, wow, like, you would have caught me last year, I probably would have been just, who knows, right? But yeah, I'm happy about this little progress, and I hope that, my intentions are as clear as I think they are. In the sense of just letting other people out there, other Black Americans, other people who share similar experiences here, um, know that you do have a say in the reality that you create, right? You do, in the reality that you live in, because you ultimately create it, and I think this is a part of it. I think this piece is such a huge piece. I think this conversation may seem, to some, I guess, cliche or on the nose, but I think really understanding and the idea of us truly creating our realities and us truly um, living a life of our choosing, um, that ultimately mental health stuff is important, um, but also understanding and having the self control necessary, as well as the emotional intelligence, to navigate a world that constantly just completely throws curveballs at us all the time. I think it's important to have that, and I think it's such a huge part, again, of creating our realities, and will ultimately be a huge part in our liberation. Um, it's something that even thinking about it just now, I think about our families back in the 50s, back in the 60s. I think about, you know, the times during Jim Crow, the times, during and after slavery, the times, just our history here in this country, but specifically in times where we didn't have the space to be reactionary, because it could cost us our lives, it could cost us the lives of our families, our loved ones. Um, how they, I'm sure, had to learn this. I'm sure they grew up with this, you know what I mean? And um because I'm sure it took a lot. I'm sure they were angry. I'm sure things, but at the same time, I think the level of self-control and the level of understanding, of the things that, we've been talking about in this video, it yeah, I think it's incredible. I think the idea of being reactionary, now that I think about it, is a huge privilege. You know what I mean? When you take into account our ancestors and what they went through, and how they moved, and how they had to live in this country. Um, so yeah, uh, I'm proud. I'm proud of that lesson. Just, you know, understanding that level of self-control, and, that level of peace, you know, is necessary. And granted, of course, they didn't always. I mean, peace for myself, not in a reflection of, our ancestors and what they had to go through. Those definitely weren't the most peaceful times. A lot of it was traumatic times, actually. So I guess that comparison isn't quite the same, but at the same time, um, in understanding that it's possible for us to have a level of peace within ourselves, um, amidst all of the chaos and amidst all of the curveballs and the hate and the misunderstandings and the bullshit. um so yeah, I don't want to get too long-winded. But yeah, I wanted to bring that to the table and to talk about that, because I mean, I think the other half of that is also mental health conversation, and ultimately us tending to our mental health, and allowing ourselves to not be afraid of that and not feel any type of way about taking care of ourselves, our brains, our emotions, and really tending, because the majority of us, a lot of us have stuff, especially if you're Black American, you're the stuff that we deal with is so we're used to it, but at the same time, for those who aren't of our culture, our ethnicity, a lot of the stuff seems super surreal. That's why we always get a lot of these like weird reactions, like, "Oh, that happens? Are you serious? Like, yeah, like this is real. This is our reality. This is, but it's real, and it shouldn't be normalized. But at the same time, you know, we should normalize tending to our mental health, and really checking in with ourselves and working on ourselves and giving ourselves everything that we need. And really being able to take a step back and really reflect on what we need. You know what I mean? And if we can be honest enough with ourselves and say, yeah, I may not have the level of self-control that is going to be beneficial to my mental health. Maybe I'm not as emotionally intelligent as I need to be. Let me work on that. Let me get to work, because I need that, especially considering where I want to go. You know what I mean? What I want to do, what kind of life I want to live, what kind of reality that I want to create for myself. So yeah, I'm gonna get off my soapbox because I definitely don't be trying to preach, but I hope that this helps somebody, and I think it's perfect timing to talk about it. And like I said, this is a celebratory video. I definitely feel like, I'm constantly making progress in my life. I think this is what life is all about. It's about growing, and it's about constantly building, and striving to really enjoy this thing. We only have such a small amount of time on this place, and it's like I want to have the best time that I could possibly have. And a lot of things come with the skin that we in, but baby, I can tell you, I would not have it any other way. And I'll do the work necessary in order to be able to enjoy every second of living in this skin, because I love it. And not only the skin, this country, with all the BS that comes with it. I posted earlier, everything that you love about America, black is what was it that I said? I guess the quote said, everything that you love about America is because of black people. It's true. It's true. um. So yeah. With that being said, y'all, it's late. I'm about to go to bed, but I thought I'd hop in and show y'all some love. I hope y'all are enjoying y'all's Black History Month. We already on day 3. We only got 28 days, y'all, so we got 25 more days. I hope y'all constantly enjoy it. And yeah, check in. Let me know how y'all doing, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.